You're gonna do your hot lap around here during the break?
Always, mate.
Always. What are you gonna use? You're gonna use the SF?
Either that or I don't know, Red Bull, AMG, safety car, something else. I don't know.
Do you have the new SFs, SF23s?
Nah, I don't have enough money.
Oh, right, okay.
I have 400,000, man. I don't play this game, bro.
Nah, fair.
Alright, welcome everyone to round 8 of the Trackstars Formula 3 series. Don't mind the title, it is not the San Marino Grand Prix, it is the Austrian Grand Prix. I'm not by myself this week, I'm joined by the fellow N-Spud P666, Nick Patasso, as Kuman runs wide there at turn 1. It seems that it may be a bit of a trend doing that one, but welcome back my friend, how is everything's going?
Yeah, good afternoon, DJ. Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Hopefully, we've all enjoyed ourselves over this fine weekend. Unfortunately, not for me. So it's a bit of a cold weekend here down in Melbourne. So just doing this live broadcast. So I'm not able to join you in this what is the a glorious day in Red Bull Ring, but I'm just here doing the live broadcast here in a very cold and igloo-like room at the moment for the stream. But yes, good to be back. Just what was a great race that we saw last time out at San Marino. So we got ourselves some good winners. We obviously had Carter taking victory in the first round and in the first race in the sprint, and then we saw Purton fend off from Carter what was an epic battle towards the end there. So it's a great battle rivalry that we're having between VLMSR Racing and WTC Racing, and it's looking to be pretty spicy yet again for the Red Bull Ring for the Austrian Grand Prix.
Yeah, it's been pretty spicy the last couple of rounds, which has been pretty good. And if we had a little bit more people, it might even be a little bit better. But yeah, so at the moment it's been pretty good. And, we've had some different winners here too, which has been a good thing.
Absolutely, and it's great to see a couple of familiar names back in, or actually one familiar name back in the Trackstars Formula 3. It's our fellow series admin in Richard Robertson, so it's great to see Robertson back in the car 20 from Robo Sport Racing. Just recently has stepped aside from his own team, from Robo Sport Racing, having a little bit of a break away from the managerial sides of things for running his own team, so he's just going to be using that to spend time with his family, do his racing here and there, but also, just support the team as, I guess as a team member rather than a team boss. So he's given the full reins to Craig Hardcourt, who's also known as Rusty Nuts 75. So it's great to see what he can do for the future of RoboSport Racing.
Yeah, of course. It'll be good to see with what Robbo can produce here. We haven't seen him for a couple of weeks, and it'll be good to see him back in the car and what we can see from that number 22. Because we haven't seen it for a while, so we'll
absolutely. He did show some great pace earlier on in the season as well. So I think he was running up and down all podiums around it. Road Atlanta was actually right in the contention with the championship along with Carter from WTC Racing. But unfortunately, those two guys, Dave missed a few rounds, and unfortunately for Carter, he's well back in the championship. He's currently sitting P4 in the standings, but with very little to no chance of catching up to the top three, where we have Burton leading by a substantial amount of points over his rival in James and then his teammate in Hedges. So by going off calculations, and I've done the rough calculations for my guys in MSR VL Racing, that if we had to apply the drop rounds right now, Burton would be comfortably ahead of the WTC driver James. Also, Hedges, who had probably his best performance last time out at San Marino. He's not too far behind. James is on 15:34, and then Hedges is on 14:53. If this is going off by the drop rounds, where we take away everyone's worst round from the season, and we subtract that to give them the overall points for the final round, that would go into round 10 at the Brands Hatch in 3 weeks' time, actually. So it'll be interesting. It'll be very close to see how Hedges can progress and see if he can get up towards his teammate in P2 and seal a VL a 1-2 for those boys. But so far, as the first drivers are coming through their qualifying laps, we have Carter currently sitting on provisional pole position with Burton in second place, and then we have James and Hedges. So a top four that we're very familiar with here, right?
Yeah, it seems to be a bit of a repetition going on here. Oh, we've got Hedges doing a little bit of tyre warm up there. Luckily, not to get in the way of James. That's coming through. But yeah, Carter, Purton, Hedges, and James have been the top kind of four that have been up there. But Robinson's up there, so maybe those couple of weeks off or something like that might have done him a little bit good. So hopefully we can see Robinson up there. But yeah, it'll be good to see. But yeah, we haven't had the drop rounds put in yet. I did do a little bit of a draft last time I was doing the results, and I can tell you that in F2, F3, mains I didn't do, but yeah, in F2 and F3, the results are definitely very spicy, and people are chopping and changing all over the place.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you have guys that's like Carter and potentially Robinson who will be spoiling the party for the top 4 that you have in the championship to get maximum points in both these 2 races, where the winner of the first race receives 100 points, and then the feature racer doubles it to 200, so 300 points overall for a round. And we've had a couple of drivers that have only been able to get a clean sweep in rounds. So that's Burton twice, and we also had James who got the clean sweep at Dragon Trail Seaside. So only 2 drivers have managed to bring in a clean sweep. As Robson improves his lap by a fair margin, just behind Burton, where Burton, actually no, that's Carter in first place. Carter's still in first. Robinson's actually moved up into P2. So yeah, it's all about these valuable points for the drivers like James and Hedges if they're going to make any inroads on Burton.
Yeah, Robinson did improve quite considerably on that lap though. He went 6 tenths faster, so he's closed a little bit on Carter, but Carter's still punching out some pretty quick lap times. But I'm not too sure if that was in a bit of a slip, but you know the slip isn't that great with these cars, so you know maybe that might be just a non-mistake lap and stuff like that. But just had some late news come in from the good old East Racing garage. We won't be seeing Blackman tonight, so we're going to have to do a bit of reshuffling with some people. So the weekend that I thought I was going to have off,
kind of potentially might be a late replacement for in the car 14. So we'll have to wait. We'll wait and see what your team boss would like to do.
Yeah, it's how it is, mate. He'll jump on the stream. I'll jump in the 14, and we'll go from there. But yeah, so Purdon improves as well, just behind Robinson there, less than or just over half a tenth. So nearly hardly anything in that one.
No, the gaps are really close, and with these cars, we've seen some amazing racing, DJ. Like just to see how close the cars are amongst the pecking order, with Carter, Robinson, and Burton occupying the top 3, and then not far behind is James and Hedges. And the competition with these cars and the closeness that we're actually getting with the racing is absolutely incredible. Obviously, one driver might have a strong track than others, but if you get them all on a level playing ground and they all love the same circuit, the racing has just become incredible.
Yeah, and obviously being a Bob New Tune race, it really comes down to the driver and who can get the most out of the cars. So it's definitely been a driver series, which is kind of what we aimed for, which we've had at the moment. But yeah, I think it's definitely a good entry for these drivers. You know, they don't have to worry about tuning and all that kind of jazz. Oh, Koeman jumping over in front of Gray there. I'm not too sure who's on a lap and what's going on here, but you don't really want to be following that close in qualifying with just over 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, exactly. And do let us know in the comments below where you're watching this live stream, who you're supporting, as we've got ourselves obviously a few familiar names here. We've got Kaiser supporting his boys in MSR VL, and then we also have Vale Lamb, who's actually the founder of VL Racing, watching his Kiwi guys go around in the Motors Brewery VL Racing MSR car in both 91 and 84, and then we have Rudsey as well joining us along. So welcome guys, welcome along. Just let us know about the sound levels and how the cars sound compared to our voices, if anything needs to be adjusted or anything needs to change. I mean, if we've got to kick Ryan out of the commentary box, please let us know. As we've got almost a minute and a half to go, I mean, I don't really want to kick you out, because otherwise we'd have no stream at all.
Hey, you can kick me out if you want. I'm going in blind this race. I've had no tuning. I'm like, yeah, sweet, don't have to worry about tuning, don't have to worry about cars. I just whip up the stream and off we go. I'll sit in the comm box in my little warm room and keep going. But yeah, no, it's good to see Lamb in here as well. You know, we haven't seen Lamb around kind of much really. I do believe he's just been focusing on some personal life. You know, he did withdraw his entry from F2s, which is a bit unfortunate, but it's good to see that the boys are still around. So that's definitely good to see.
And then also we have the team boss in Wade von Duve joining us in the comments below as well. So obviously he's the team boss of WTC Racing. So like we have said, it is basically more or less essentially an MSR versus a WTC Racing, with the top 4 in the championship occupied by those 2 teams respectively. But so far, currently, with the 30 seconds to go, we still have Carter on pole position. So he's not far. He's not ahead by much. But we'll wait and see as he goes through turn 9 and turn 10. They're really tricky corners. One part of the track that you can really make a mistake on. It looks easy on paper, but as soon as you drive it into a car, you will be struggling to get around the corners. But coming onto Red Bull Mobile onto the main straight, does he improve on his lap time? It looks like he does. No, he doesn't. So not by much though. So he's really close. Purden, not on the 2 laps ago, actually improved his laps. So he's closing up. And like we saw at San Marino, Ryan, we definitely saw, I think, an amazing battle between Purden and Carter, where Purden just managed to grab the lead in race 2, and then Carter was applying all the pressure between himself and Hedges. But I think in the end, the racing was just incredible between those 2 guys, those 2 top caliber drivers in Formula 3. And unfortunately for Carter, he just hesitated a bit and just spun out after the S's going into the back straight.
Yeah, I think every race at the moment we're seeing with Carter, Purden, even James is getting a little bit of a taste of this too. You know, I haven't really seen James kind of get a good qualifying result, probably not as much as what he wants, but he's definitely got the race pace there to burn. You know, he progresses through the field, and Purden, that is not the racetrack over there, my dude.
And that's the consequences of trying to take that corner. Just that little bit too much. It's very easy to do. But James is actually right behind Purden, so he may have been flustered a little bit, but does he improve on his lap time? He doesn't. Well, it doesn't look like James has improved. Definitely Purden did not improve. But we'll keep our eyes on Carter. So far sitting on provisional pole position. I'm not so sure any other drivers are going to be able to topple him off. Hedges has actually improved up into P3, so he's improved his lap time. But Carter coming around the final corner, I don't see any more challenges to his pole position. So I think as he crosses the finish line, he hasn't improved on his lap time. So it looks to be, so far, a WTC pole position with Carter in first place. And then we have Purden and Hedges in 2nd and 3rd. So well done to the top 3. And like we always see in this championship, DJ, it's going to be a spicy race, because look who's in the mix as well in P4. Richard Robinson from RSR Racing. He's the X factor in this championship, as well as Carter. So they're both not in title contentions, but they're just going to be going out for a hard slogging and trying to get a victory tonight.
Yeah, it definitely is going to be interesting, because the times are somewhat close between Hedges and Robinson there, and Purden as well, a little bit further in front, but looks like Carter's in a different league at the moment in this car at this track. So maybe he's had a bit more practice than the other guys. But yeah, that's another WTC Racing pole position there. So pretty sure that Wade's going to be pretty happy with that one. But it looks to be, I was about to say it's going to be an MSR VL WTC Racing sandwich, but Robinson's crashing that party.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's not far behind as well. Just so the top 4 separated by less than 0.5 of a second, and then you have James right behind, not far at all. So the top 5, well in a class of their own. As we go down the field, we have Liam in Latigator joining us as well, making his return into the Formula 3. He's down in P6, and then we have Kuman, Isascalo, who was leading actually leading the championship for Intercontinental Esports at the end of Road Atlanta. Back for a while back. So he's sitting in P7, and then we have a Gray from I believe he's running his own privateer team in P8. So, and he's not too far behind Kuman as well. So the top 8 all here tonight, ready to go for what is going to be an amazing sprint race here. 7 laps around this circuit here at Red Bull Ring, formerly known as the Österreich Ring and the A1 circuit. So then it was formally bought by Red Bull back in 2004 to have all the developments and open the track to the public and the races in 2011. And then we finally saw Formula One making a return in 2014. But the lights are ready to go. All the drivers are ready. 8 cars on the grid. Fantastic sight to see as we have Carter, Purden and Hedges and Robinson occupying the top 4. But the dark horse in Carter is going to be looking to try and eke that gap going through the first corner. We'll wait and see how he goes as those lights are about to come on. We have 5 red lights And it's going to be lights out at green flag racing. So he's got a good launch there, but the second phase has gone to Purton. So Purton's actually come through. He's going to go side by side with Carter going into turn one, going through Nicky Lauda curve for the first time. Carter just holds it around the outside. A little bit of contact between the two drivers. Up front, Hedges, a little bit of door banging with Robinson, but Purton's actually pulled a gap. He's got a good, comfortable margin over Carter, and this is what he wanted to start this race going into turn two, which is a very small kink. We're now officially through Remus for the first time on lap one. All the cars have been settled down, and we see a bit in the background there. We see Gray over Kuma. So he's up to P7, but a fantastic start by Purton, and Carter just drops down to P2.
Yeah, Carter was on the outside there. You know, the starting grid on this one, you get a good start from second place, you're going to have the inside run there. So they should probably definitely rethink that one or relook at that one. But yeah, that was definitely a good start there by Purton, and he's gapped him by 9/10 over a second. So yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and this track is also very notorious for its with its track limits, DJ. We know how harsh it is around this circuit for track limit penalties. So you don't want the drivers, especially in championship contenders, to be getting penalties early on the race, because half a second or a second around this track can become pretty bad. But as we have Hedges actually applying pressure now on Carter in second place, as we look down the field, we'll see Gray has made that move over Koeman up in the early parts of the race. But one lap completed, 6 to go. We have Purton. Then we have Carter, who's coming under pressure from Gray, from Hedges rather, and then we have Robinson on front. So far, Carter's gone for a spin. He's caught too much curb, and that is his race over. He needs to get the car back onto the track, but he's going to have, thankfully, no damage on the car. So we see how he rides the Brindle strip. Oh, he just clipped it. He had got it all wrong going into the entry, DJ.
Yeah, the entry there really unsettled the car, but once you unsettle the car there, it's really hard to get back. You know, you kind of want to run over that outside curb if you do mess up the entry, just to kind of get the car settled back down, because if you try and he runs a little bit too hot on the gas there. But yeah, as I said, you know, you mess up the entry to that, you want to run over the outside curb to settle the car down, not turn the car in too tight, which is pretty much exactly what happened to Carter there. So not really what he wants on his run in the championship. Definitely, granted, where Purton and Hedges are. So you know, it's definitely going to spice things up a little bit, especially with the progressive grid. So wherever they finish in this race, they start the next one. And I don't know about you, but I wouldn't want to be starting from 8th place.
No, but luckily, how he displayed his masterclass in overtaking back at Catalunya, that overtaking masterclass where he went off at the end of the first lap and then came through the field to only be not far behind Purton for the win of the race. And it was such a good recovery. So unfortunately for him, he's just down to P7, as we did see Koeman. Looks like he dropped a place to Carter, so Carter's gained at least one position from all that mess there. As we see, there he is, he's officially well ahead of Koeman, so Koeman must have just made a mistake in Sector 2. As we see the guys up front, so still got Purton and Hedges 1 and 2 for MSR, but Hedges has actually got a much better exit going to turn 1. He's applying the pressure on Purton now, and Robinson is keeping James back from challenging the MSR boys. So WTC not really having a strong start tonight, as we saw with Carter going around turn 1 on the previous lap, and James is still stuck behind Robinson. So for the MSR boys, it's looking like a strong result here.
Yeah, definitely looking for a strong result here, but it's never over till the checkered flag drops. So you know, we don't want to give him a commentator's curse, but you know, yeah, we'll wait and see what happens. But at the moment, yeah, as I said, pretty good challenge here from MSRVL. They seem to be up there at the moment in F3. F2 they seem to be a little bit off, but yeah, MSR is pretty up there in all categories, because you know you've got Pat leading the charge in main series for MSR Racing. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, absolutely, and the whole development stage going through the Formula 3 and also with Formula 2, with a couple of extra signings in that team, it's always been pretty good. And we saw as well Kaiser getting a result in at San Marino last time out, getting off himself onto the podium for I believe was his third time in his Formula 2 career, so it's great to see. But he's also the development drivers here in Formula 3, where we're seeing Purton and Hedges, where they actually took a bit of a break away from the game. We last saw them in the Porsche Cup in 2022, and then from there, they took a bit of a hiatus away from track stars and racing in general before they regrouped and wanted to start the year off in 2023 with a bang. And essentially, now they're leading 1 and 2 here at Red Bull Ring, with Purton leading the championship and Hedges sitting in third. But a result for Hedges here over his rival in James, and Purton, he gets so tail happy there. Wow, that's a good save there by Purton. But I was about to say, if Hedges can keep his nose ahead of James over the next few rounds, he will be in contention to take that P2 away from James.
Yeah, James is sitting back here in fourth as well. So if I was him, I'd kind of be wanting to try and attack Robinson here, because the higher up he finishes, the more points you get. So, and again, as I said, progressive grid, you want to be starting up as far up the front as you want, and having Purton up there, definitely not really what I would want to see, seeing him up the front.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we can also see Robinson applying a bit of pressure now on Hedges. So Hedges has got maybe a little bit of a mistake through sector 2, which actually given Robinson to the edge to close up to him, and he's actually gapped James in P4. But if we look down through the grid, we can see a few honourable mentions there. We see Liam down to P5 holding his own in position 1. Almost went off to the grass there. That's a very interesting line that Liam was going to take going to turn 1. And then we have Gray sitting up in P6. So this will actually be his best results in Formula 3. So sitting nicely in position 6 and not too far behind. Liam's about 1.5 behind, but anything can happen with these Formula 3 cars. And then unfortunately, we have Carter down in P7, and then Koeman, who made a mistake on lap 2, sitting in position 8. But Carter just went purple in that first sector, so he's got the pace teacher. We know his pace in these Formula 3 cars, but just little mistakes like that we saw at turn 1 and lap 2, it really hinders your confidence for the rest of the race.
Yeah, it does, but then in the same aspect, a recovery drive can definitely perk some people up. You make a mistake early on, have a bit of a recovery drive, pick off a couple of positions. It kind of does lift your spirits up a little bit, just because it kind of shows, look, I've got the pace, I can punch through the field. But yeah, he wouldn't be sitting in the championship if he didn't have the pace. So yeah, it's definitely gonna see there. We'll see what his sector split is here. Oh, he's down on his own time, so he lost a bit of time there through sector 2. So maybe that run up there on into turn 3, he might be braking a little bit early, a little bit late. No, I'm not too sure. Then coming into turn 4, so a lot of factors in there. But yeah, he's making a little bit of ground here on Gray, so that's not too bad there. And then obviously 2.2 in front of him, you've got Liam. So the old thing, you can catch a car, but whether or not you can pass it is a different story.
Yeah, absolutely. And with these cars, it makes the racing pretty close. As we actually, whilst we're keeping our eyes on Carter, we did see Robinson make a move on Hedges on the previous lap. So that's Robinson up into P2, Hedges down to P3. But Robinson, as we've seen there on his lap board, he's actually the fastest man so far in this race, in the sprint race, in lap 6 or 7. So he's been reeling in the gaps. He's been closing and pushing that car to the absolute limit. And so far, taking the fastest lap of the sprint race. And he's 1.5 behind Purton in first place. So he'll be looking to try and get himself a little bit more confidence going into the feature race later on this evening. But it's a positive sign to see that it's great to see Robertson back in the car, back in his forte, and just having a bit of fun out there, and currently sitting P2.
Yeah, having Robinson up the front is definitely going to be a confidence boost for him. He's gone a 1/10.5 slower than his lap time, so he's punching out some pretty decent quick laps there. So yeah, and then obviously if he stays P2, he'll have the inside run up to turn 1. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Yeah, so see what Robinson can pull out. Maybe he might even have a bit of a win there. But
yeah, I mean, and who wouldn't love a Robbo win? These days in track stars. That'd be great.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it has.
What's the last I can remember is Bathurst 1000 from, was that 2021? I think it was.
Yes. Yeah, that was true. He won one of the races. I believe it was Touring Cups, or it may have been the Formula 2. Can't exactly remember, but I remember as well. 2021, he actually did win what was the feature race of the what was the Blue Moon 500. So the feature race of TS2, he actually won that ahead of his then teammate in Blackman, who was also known as Little Blacko. So he got another victory there. So he's had some victories here at Track Stars, and it's always great to see him take a victory. But he'll be very happy with his performance in P2 and in the box seat to try and, like you said, try and make that early moves on Burton for the feature race. But coming around onto Sector 2 for the last time, the grid order hasn't really changed much as we've seen through the order there. The top 8 still staying in their same positions from the last couple of laps. The Mercado's actually closed up a bit. Oh, he's just Oh, that's a good save, a good catch there from you, TJ. Perfect work on the cameras. And Carter almost tried to make a move on Grable, nearly took himself out. But as the leader is coming through onto the back straight, onto the little part of the back straight going to turn 9 for the last time. The first of the right-handers coming into Red Bull Mobile for the last time on turn 10. Onto the pit straight, will take yet another victory in Track Stars Following Through. It's going to go to Purton, taking the sprint race here for round 8 of the Track Stars Formula 3. So congratulations to Purton. Robinson in 3rd, and Hedges just fends off from James in 4th place. And then Liam rounding up in the top 5 for It's Racing Esports, and Gray with a good performance on his end in position 6. And Carter, very unfortunate for him not to be up there in the pecking order, finishing down in P7. And then rounding up the top 8 of our Formula 3 drivers is Koeman from ISA Esports. So 8 drivers within 30 seconds of each other. Great race, great results here, and it will lead up to a very spicy feature race coming up very shortly with Carter down the order.
Yeah, that definitely will be interesting. That one. So it will be very interesting. But yeah, going through the grid here, Purden obviously come through in 1st place, so that's another win down there for MSR, VL, and Purden. Robinson coming through P2 and the fastest lap, just in front of Purden. If you actually seeing this with my own eyes, Purden and Hedges have exactly the same lap time.
There you go. I do see that.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's but look where Carter is on his lap time as well. He's at 1 minute 33.236, and his teammates not too far behind at 33.3. So the pace is incredible with these guys. You know, they have such great pace. And but yeah, as we do see, you do make mistakes around this track, and it is very notorious and it's very easy to make mistakes, especially in turn 1. And unfortunately, it just claimed the life of Carter on lap 2. So a lot of work for him to do, and for WTC Racing just to get their heads back into the garage, talk to their chief engineers as they get ready for the feature race coming up in a few minutes' time. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. We will be back for the feature race, and as well, we might get a little bit of a hot lap with our one and only Ryan Palmer in whatever car he likes to choose. So stick around, ladies and gentlemen. Grab a drink, grab some food, and join us for the feature race coming up soon.
Alright, we're back, and the question is, what car are we gonna go for? I reckon, no, my safety car has wets. That thing will be drifting all over the shop. You know what? I reckon we just send it. Here we go. Send it with wets.
Send it with wets. See how we go. Let's see how our commentator and Ryan Palmer goes around the Red Bull Ring here this evening. So at least you don't have to negotiate turn one there, so you're safe.
Are we,
And
what view are we going? Are you going behind the car? Are we going in the car?
yeah, I think we're gonna go for we're gonna go in the in car. We're gonna hear the grunty Mercedes AMG safety car that not an official safety car of Trackstars Racing Series, but also what we've seen as well, ladies and gentlemen. We've seen the updated in the previous GT7 update. We did see the brand new Mercedes AMG 2020 version, so it may be a sign of things to come. Hopefully and finally with Gran Turismo that we started to see some new cars and new race cars joining us. So it's the sight and sounds that we love to see of the AMG, and it's a good start as we see Ryan come through the turn 4, drifting the car around. But you're holding it on very nicely there, Ryan. So you're doing pretty well as he drifts around. As he's having a bit of fun, ladies and gentlemen. So any roasting you want to do, just send him to his Discord DM, and then he can read us back through that when he gets ready, when he gets suited up for the main series. He's coming around. Yeah, might be the tyres for our Formula 3 drivers to use. You're giving some sort of secrets there, Ryan.
Oh.
Looking good as he goes through turn 10, and what is going to be a hairy lap here. He's done it, ladies and gentlemen. He hasn't spun the safety car around, so well done to my co-company in Ryan Palmer, doing a great job. Oh, no. Oh, I thought you were going to go through turn 1. There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
Now he's back to where he started. Man, look at those tyres. They're absolutely roasted.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, we can make it for a good skid.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we can see there in the background, ladies and gentlemen, that is the short layout of the Red Bull Ring as well. So where we see a couple of support categories and I believe it's some sort of motocross racing that they do here in Austria. They use the short layout of the Red Bull Ring, and what was actually quite a historic track, what was formerly known as Österreich Ring, where we actually used the full extension of this layout here in the Styrian Hills through the forests in the background, and not through there, but behind. But if we go to the back end of to the front end of Ryan's car, we can see definitely through the Styrian Hills there, where the grandstands are. That's where the old circuit used to be, and then going into what is Remus Curve into turn 3, then we start making our descent down the hill and going back into turn 1. So it was a very historic track. Back up until 1980, I believe it was 1986 was the last time the Red Bull, was the Formula 1 race was last held in Styria in Austria, before they came back to the A1 circuit, where they ran it up until 2003, before it was sold by Red Bull in 2004, before they brought all the upgrades and the racing back at Red Bull Ring. And there has been some good races around here as well. I'm not so sure if you've been seeing a few races as well, Ryan, but one does coming to mind was I believe it was the 2019 race as well, where it was like Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen on the charge, just coming through the pecking order and just take his first Red Bull Ring victory.
Well, up until probably roughly about the end of last year, this year, I never really kind of kept up with F1, so I've been more of a supercars GT kind of dude. But mate, ask me about supercars, I can more than likely tell you about what's going on with them. But yeah. So.
Has supercars raced around here? I'm not too sure.
Yeah, it may actually be pretty interesting, I reckon, to see supercar race around here.
I think it could work. I think it'll be an amazing spectacle. But anyway, enough with our supercars Formula 1. We are back for Formula 3. So Purton on pole position, taking out the sprint race victory. The 5 lights are about to go out. Can Robson come through and pull a late charge in the feature race as we go green flag racing? Purton wisely goes for the inside line and defends from Robinson. But does he cover enough? Robinson with a bit of a hit going into turn one, and Robinson is just going to have to slow that car down a little bit, and Burton still keeps lead in position. A bit of a hit there between the two drivers.
Yeah, I think he went around the out. Yeah, he did. It looks like he got a bit of a touch from the back of Robinson. So had to take a bit of evasive action there, and yeah, he gets half a second penalty, which yeah might be a bit one to look at post race. But these guys going 3 wide down here on this back straight. It's getting
my goodness. And Liam's come through out of nowhere to make it 3 wide. So we're going to see Hedges, James and Liam going into turn 4 where we see Burton and Robinson pulling away from these guys. Hedges is going for the inside move. James runs wide and he's going to hit Robinson off the track, and that is Robinson. Oh, he's nearly gone off the track there, but he still holds on in a massive cluster that we're seeing here with our Formula 3 drivers. We're seeing 4 cars going wide, running a 4 wide sequence. It is incredible scenes, ladies and gentlemen, from the first opening lap here in the feature race. The guys haven't settled down, and look who's come through the field here, DJ. Who's up into P3? It is Carter from 7th to 3rd of the coming towards the end of the opening lap, and he's taken full advantage of the cluster that was down at turn 4.
Yeah, that was some pretty wild stuff going on there. Coming down there into turn 4. Looks like James completely missed his brake marker. Was lucky to hit the grass. I think it hitting a little bit of a ripple.
Oh, so I did see in the background, I did see a spin there from Gray. So he did go into turn 10 with the rear end sticking out. And unfortunately for him,
he got hit from
the
behind.
car.
Looks like he got hit from behind from Koeman there. I'll see if I can jump back to... back there. It looks like you come in here real deep under brakes. Bang.
Oh,
bang.
Yeah, there you go.
A whole lot of checking up there with looks like Gray got checked up by, I think it was Liam that was in front of him. So bit of a concertina action there, but yeah, a bit unfortunate for Gray. It was on for a top 6 result, so would have been good for him. It would have been good for him.
Definitely had a good result in the sprint race, but unfortunately for him, he got a little bit hurt, a little bit hindered there in that one at the end of lap 1. So unfortunate for him to be spinning around in the last corner, going through Red Bull. But on lap 2 of 4, we still have Burton leading the way, who could be potentially going on for yet another clean sweep here. This will be the 3rd to his tally, but right behind him, he's got a fast charging Carter just tucked underneath the rear wing of Robinson, and not far behind his Hedges. So Hedges will be trying to find some redemption after he was caught up in all of that mess where James really, I think in a way, he outbraked himself going into turn 4. He might have gotten a little tap from one of the drivers on the rear, one of his rear wheels, that may have just unsettled him. So we'll have to look back and see what happened there. But these guys battling it out for P2, it's incredible to see.
Yeah, it really is here, but Burton's probably just going to be like, boys, keep battling, just keep battling for me. So Hedges there with a 33.185, that's a good lap there. I think that was on par with Robinson in the last race, but Carter makes the inside move there into 1. Nice racecraft there from Robinson and Carter, good work guys, but yeah, I actually think Carter's name is Ryan as well, his first name. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, his name is Ryan. So, you know, it's just a good luck, mate. It's a good luck charm. But 2.4 seconds from Carter to Burton. That might be a little bit of a stretch to close down, but this battle of 3 here is definitely getting interesting.
Yeah, absolutely, and you can see that he's looks like Carter's going to get a great run out of turn 3, and Robinson's going to be pouncing on that mistake as he feints to the inside line. Will he make the move on Carter? He breaks at the same point as he does. They're going to go side by side into turn 4. Robinson takes the lead. Carter's going to hold around the outside, but it's a long way around the outside, and Hedges is going to be coming towards him, going into turns 5 and 6. Robinson keeps P2, so it's great battles going here for position 2. All the while, Burton is pulling away from this battle pack. Hedges just clipped the grass there. That just sent his car a little bit wide, a little bit tail happy on the exit of turn 7. So unfortunately for him, he's just stuck there. And Carter's now back on the inside, trying to make a move on Robinson into turn 9. He's going to hold it in for the inside line. He does. Does he go a bit too deep? No. Robinson back into the inside line of turn 10. They're going to go side by side, tapping each other off. They're going to go into turn 10 onto the pit straight, side by side. This is amazing racing, and look who's behind. Hedges is thinking, go on, boys, keep battling it out, because this is amazing racing that we're seeing in the feature race here, ladies and gentlemen. Robinson and Carter putting on a great display of racecraft not too much contact, not too many push and shoves, but it's pure racecraft, and it's still going. Carter still wants to hold and go around the outside of Robinson. Actually, well known to be the outside line is the favoured line because you get more grip around the outside. The inside doesn't have that much grip. And we can just see there by demonstration, Carter takes P2 away from Robinson, and Hedges is right there in the mix as well. He's going to make a move on Carter. So the three boys battling for P2. We can't keep our eyes off this, ladies and gentlemen. It's incredible scenes to see. Hedges is trying to go around the outside. No, he doesn't. So he thinks better of it, and will settle for P4. But that looks to be settled down. Ryan, we have Carter in P2, Robinson P3, and we still have Hedges in P4.
Yeah, that was a massively intense battle there. That was really, really wild there. But James and Liam are going at it here. But in all of this happening, Mr. Purden's got a 3.3 second gap. So he's just gapped the field with these boys fighting. He's like, thank you very much for that one. But yeah, this is crazy, this stuff. They're still going at it, these boys.
Yeah, it's incredible to see. It's great to see Liam going for a move there on James, and James managed to hold it around the outside of turn 9. That's very unheard of around this track, knowing how tight the exit of turn 9 is, because once you go wide onto that AstroTurf, you lose all control going into turn 10, and you pick up half-second penalties for days. But James did a spectacular job. As low as I think at the end of that first lap, he was down into P8, but now he's back up into P5, and will be looking to try and make some moves on Hedges and Robinson. But Hedges is going to go for a move on Robinson, goes for the inside move onto turn 3 to Remus. Robinson's going to hold the outside. There's more grip around the outside, pushed onto the sausage curves. At least he's given a fair bit of racing room there, but these boys are going side by side. Hedges going in a half second. Oh no, that little push wide going onto the sausage curve may have hindered Robinson's chance of getting that move back on Hedges into turn 4, but Hedges sits into P3. Robinson right tucked into P4, but a half second to serve, and let's see how close James can close up onto Robinson as he's about to serve that penalty right now. So Hedges will pull away, but Robinson has to sit idle for half a second, burning that penalty. We'll have to wait and see if he is able to keep P4, but as he's coming through now onto
Two positions here.
He's holding the inside line. He's doing the right
He's
thing.
held position. Interesting. Yeah, wow. Usually that half second penalty turns it into like 1.5. But yeah, that's interesting there. Oh, someone else has got one. Hedges got one.
Yeah, I just saw that. I caught that in the foreground as you were switching cameras. But yeah, Hedges has got himself a half second, and there you go. Yeah, as you do see there. You run wide into turn 9, yeah, and you lose all the speed going into turn 10, and you have dirty tyres and a half second penalty for him. And I mean, are we going to get another battle between Hedges and Robinson on this lap?
Yeah, we may, but then that might also bring James into the mix of things as well too. So yeah, you know, we've got Carter trying to push to close the gap to Purden. He's closed it by about 4 tenths. He's done a 33.001, so that's a crazy fast lap.
Yeah, the fastest lap we've seen throughout both sprint and feature races so far. Carter setting a 1 minute 30 flat, so great job by Carter closing in on Purden. As we did see, Carter is quite competitive around this track here, and unfortunately with that sprint race not going his way, he's now able to put the pressure back on Purden and try and claim yet another victory here at Track Stars Falling 3 as Hedges is about to come through into the penalty burn zone right now. Doesn't look like he's going to lose any time here, so he'll lose time, but he won't lose the position here, Ryan.
Yeah, keep back on here. Yeah, that's an interesting penalty there. It might be, you know, there might be actually a half a second penalty, which looks like what it was. So that was an interesting one here. But I'll jump on board here with Hedges for a lap and see how he forms up with the car.
see that. It's a very nice lap there by Hedges there. He went purple in that first sector, but it wasn't really able to capitalise on that, as we did see in the side mirrors of Hedges' car. We actually did see he did right behind James has actually made a move on Robertson. So finally he's made the move, and Robertson's just goes from bad to worse. A 1 second penalty. Looks like he may have pushed the car a little bit too wide, as we did see there. James make that move finally, going onto the pit straight. But James up into P4, Robertson down into P5. And you can definitely see the gap between and the pace difference between the top. We did see 2 laps ago, I believe, Liam was right up there about battling with these guys, or almost more or less putting himself into contention. But with the pace that the top 5 have got amongst the rest of the field, it's just incredible. It's incredible to see how strong and how determined the F3 boys are here, especially from the boys from MSR VL, as we see Purton now pick up a half second. So that's not what it is in the playbooks here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, definitely not in the playbooks there. And it hasn't come up yet, but who's got the monopoly money on someone to win? We hadn't announced it, because we've just forgotten, mate. Like, it's just.
I think we have.
We have. But who have people got their monopoly money on for this one? But this has really played into the hands of Carter here. Carter's been punching out some absolutely banger laps.
Yeah. Absolutely, they're qualifying laps. There's no time to lose for Carter. It's all about just trying to get the head down and focus and find some redemption. But he's got a perfect run coming out of Nicky Lauda curve, and it's right in that slipstream of Purton. Purton's going to look to go defensive on the inside, on the kink into turn 2, as you see as he moves the car onto the inside. Carter is going to go for the outside run, going into Remus on lap 9 of 14. Oh, a bit of contact made between Purton and Carter, so Purton parked it on the apex. Nicely done there. Carter giving him that little bit of boost onto the back straight. So as play resumes here, the gap is extended out a bit.
Yeah, that was very interesting there with that one. The Carter really closed that gap there, but then he's just kind of lost it. So I think Carter's a lot stronger than Purton through this midsection, which is probably where you're going to make up the most time, which you can see on that relative there. Not sure if you can see it, but it's come down from 1.2 or 1.3 to under a second, so he's gained about 3.5 tenths. So he's definitely a lot stronger than Purton through this midsection.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like it's more or less a bit of a juggling act, as you see lap by lap there between the 2 drivers here. But you can definitely see that these guys have been the drivers that have been punching above their weight here in Formula 3. Unfortunately, had we seen Carter a little bit more in the Formula 3 Championship, we would have been seeing a very awesome championship battle between both drivers from MSR VL Racing and WTC Racing, between these two. But we don't want to take our eyes off the drivers behind us, and Hedges and James, who have been really putting in the effort and the time of getting these cars to being up front. And with James sitting in P2 and Hedges not far behind his rival, if he finishes ahead of James, it'll really close that gap in that championship and getting close to getting that P2 and taking that away from WTC. But as we look up ahead, Carter looks like he's about to close and make a move. No, he hasn't. So he's actually lost time again. So Burton's actually now he's decided to put his head down and find some qualifying pace in his 91 Red Bull Junior.
Yeah, Carter's done looks like to be a 34.6, so that's his only 34 apart from lap 3. So yeah, every other lap's been 33s. But as I say, that he closes the gap by 2.5 tenths here through this just 2 corners. So Carter's definitely a lot stronger through this section, but then Purton kind of comes back in just here whereabouts where they are. So it's definitely a track where drivers can have favoured sections, strong, weak, stuff like that. But it's essentially just a drivers' championship. It's driver v driver, not essentially tune v tune. So
yeah,
I think Carter's got the gap down to now 6 tenths. So 4 tenths. It's just gone to 4 there. So
he's really strong in that last section, as you said there. And I wouldn't be surprised if he sets another fastest lap there. I don't think he did, but is right on the rear wing yet again on lap 11 of 14. So 4 laps to go here, ladies and gentlemen. So let us know who's supporting Purton or Carter to take victory here for the feature race at Red Bull Ring for the Austrian Grand Prix, where later on we'll be seeing the Formula Track Stars in action in just under an hour's time. But it's the battle between Purton and Carter. MSR VL Racing versus WTC. Purton again hugs the inside line. Carter just can't get any room and can't find the grip to get himself traction, but he looks like he's found a little bit more pace in that exit zone coming around the outside. Purton and Carter, they're going to go side by side into turn 4. Purton's going to hold the inside. Carter's going to have to go around the long way. Will Purton park it on the apex as he did on the previous 2 laps ago? No, he won't. He makes that move, but Carter's got a really good line on the exit of turn 4. Wilk's going to stick his nose into turn 6. No, he will stay behind him. So you've got to be very patient here, Ryan. It's all about just trying to keep that car steady. That's all about being patient, because you can get a really good run here out of turn 7 going into turn 8. And this is where Carter's been really strong here, but doesn't look like he's got the momentum on his side just yet. And yet again, he's going to probably stick behind Purton for at least the end of this lap.
Yeah, I think Carter kind of comes onto that little back section there through 7 and 8. He has the car a lot straighter on the exit, which makes up a lot of time compared to what Purton does. So I think Carter's just pushing the limits a little bit there. You know, he knows where his limits are, and he's taking it to them and not exceeding him. As he starts to go for a run here into 1.
Oh, that's so close. Oh, the two nearly spun it on the curb there. I wouldn't be surprised if any one of them get themselves a half second. And it's Purton that's got the half second. Oh, he just ran the car a little bit too wide there, and he's the one that picks up the half second. So Purton has to do everything in his power to try and get that car well over a second clear of Carter, because the half second, like you did say, DJ, is more or less about a half second penalty as you're going through to turn 9. So he really needs to get his head down and find that extra bit of few extra tenths, because coming into turn 9 and 10, if he's well over 5 tenths ahead of Carter, it could be a really spicy turn 9 and 10.
Yeah, he's just 1 second ahead there, but it's just dropped to 9 tenths. Oh, just gone up, just gone under 9 now, so back up again. So, you know, it's definitely going to be very close. Back to 8. So, yeah, Carter, the time gain that he has it, but then he loses it. So,
here we go,
wow,
ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be very close between Purton and Carter. Who's going to come on top of this? Purton's got these penalty. He's penalty burnt, and he's coming into turn 9. Oh, so close between the 2 drivers. This is amazing, the racing that we're seeing here at Trackstars Formula 3 between the 2 the fastest drivers in Formula 3. We're seeing Purton putting on a mammoth battle to fend off from his rival in Carter in second place. Hedges in the meanwhile is still sitting in P3. There he is. He's not out of it yet, because once these 2 make some contact, and any time they slow themselves down, it could be well into his favour that he could come in and steal some candy from a baby, DJ.
Come on, mate, you can't steal candy from a baby. That's just rude. That's just rude. You got to steal fairy floss from a baby.
There you go.
But
that's great.
yeah, no, Hedges is in the box seat here. You know, if something does happen and these guys come together with, you know, just on nearly 1.5 laps to go, you know, could be anyone's game here at the moment. So Carter runs a little bit deep there into turn 4. Yeah, that's going to be close, I think, on this last lap. Carter's kind of got to really give it his all through this section here. Get a good run out of the last corner into 1, and then just go on, you know, maximum defend mode. But you know, you can't defend too much, because then it would be classed as blocking. But you can defend your position. So, but yeah, you can see. I don't know if you saw it there. The difference between Purton and Carter on the edge there. But Purton looks like he's got a better run there. So that's definitely interesting. Some analysation. But guys in there saying, "Come on, Purt's using my defensive skills." So looks like Kaizen's been helping Purton out with some racing there. So that's a good thing.
Exactly, that's good to see. And here we are, ladies and gentlemen, on the final lap here of the feature race here at Trackstars Formula 3. We've got ourselves an epic battle here. Purton just skates the car on the exit of 1, and so does Carter. You can see both drivers are pushing their Red Bull Juniors to the absolute limit. As we go down the grid for the final time, we have Hedges in 3rd. We have Purton in 4th, James in 4th, Robson inside the top 5. Then we have Liam, and then we have Cuban and Gray rounding up your top eight, but we don't want to really be keeping our eyes down there because Purden's made a mistake on the exit of turn three, and Carter's right up on his gearbox again, so Purden's going to have to go defensive. It is less than a tenth of a second coming into turn four. They're going to go side by side. Burton and Carter coming to turn four. Carter takes the car deep. He's going to hold it around the inside. Burton's going to cut him off a little bit, but looks like Carter's got a little bit more momentum shifting towards him. He's going to look for a move going into turn five. He has. He's put the car in a perfect position and blocks the inside. Person's going to have to go around the outside, and he looks like he's made that move, DJ. He's coming around to turn seven, leading the feature race for the first time. You don't win it on the first lap, you win it on that last lap. And what a timely move there by Carter from WTC Racing. Has to negotiate turn 9 and 10 for the last time. Get those corners right, because otherwise you will lose that position to Purden. And then into turn 10. What a mammoth battle we're seeing here, ladies and gentlemen. Purden's gone full send on Carter, but he can't make the move. Carter takes victory for the Formula 3 race, for the feature race. Well done to Carter and WTC Racing. Purton in second. Hedges seals yet another P3. James in fourth. Robinson in fifth. We have Liam rounding up in sixth place. And then down the back of the order, we have Kuman in seventh, and then Gray in PA. But oh my goodness, DJ, that was a great move by Carter on the last lap.
Yeah, that was crazy. Didn't lead a lap that whole race and made the move on the last lap. He well, you could say he pulled a Chaz Mostert back in Bathurst in 2015 when he won. So
Yeah.
he didn't lead a lap all day up until the last lap, and he ended up winning the race. So top job there from Carter. Obviously started down the pack, avoided avoided all the stuff that happened early on there, and zoomed through the field. And yeah, he's put in his work there, and yeah, came off with the win. And Purden got a 1.5 second penalty at the end there, which pushed him 2 seconds down. So nearly lost a
Oh,
spot to Hedges.
yeah. I was going to say, he nearly lost the spot to Hedges at the end of that. So that would have just made his day worse. But holy hell, that was an amazing finale there by our Formula 3 boys. And what epic racing we've been seeing here tonight in our Track Stars Formula 3. It came down to the last lap, and that's what we love to see with our boys here at Track Stars Formula 3, showing the big boys in Formula 2 and the Formula Track Stars to say, do you know what? Have you guys seen us before? Do you know that we exist here? Because I think we're putting on the best. I think we're putting on the best racing here in Track Stars. And with a race like that, I think that's definitely going to be up there as probably one of the best races I've seen in the Formula 3's debut season here at Track Stars.
Yeah, Formula 3 debut season. Anyone would think this has been going on for 2, 3 years, but yeah, no. In the Formula 3, I don't even think I've seen that in TS3 either. Maybe 1 or 2 laps, but this thing had action for the whole race. You know, Purden went out to an early lead of over 4 seconds, and then Carter, Hedges, and Robinson were fighting off at the front there, and you know, Purden just tried moseying on, and looks like he might have fallen asleep. But yeah, no, Carter punched in some damn quick lap times. Actually, saying that, James got the fastest. He got a 32. So yeah,
Oh,
wow,
wow.
that's solid work there. But Carter, yeah, as you said, didn't lead a lap all race. Made the move there in coming into turn 6 on the inside. Parked his car in the right spot. Purton didn't defend as much as what he should have. But yeah, that
Yeah,
was
it was
fantastic.
so it was super close. He got, I believe he just got an overlap going into turn 5 on the exit of turn 4, and I think he just got an overlap on Purton's 91. And yeah, it was just so close to see, and it was just great racing. And I don't know what it's going to be for a driver of the day, because it's going to be a tough one, because as much as we could give it to Carter for that epic move around the on the last lap, unfortunately his first race wasn't as strong as what we normally see it. So it's going to be a bit of a hard decision. So I don't know about you, DJ, but I'm really stumped to think who's going to be driver of the day here in Formula 3.
Yeah, look, I think I'm on that same boat to be honest too. But I'd love to give it to him for that recovery drive there, but it was a bit of a mishap with some cars in front. So,
Yeah.
but you know, he still won the race. But yeah, mine's probably got to go to Purden. You know, he was consistently up there all the time and defended. Had some pretty insane battles there. So yeah, he did outstandingly well. So yeah, mine definitely goes to Burton.
Absolutely, and he really deserves that. But I was also as well. I think I'm gonna have to. I'll play the odd one out, and actually gonna go for Hedges there. So he's got. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Hedges because he got 3/3 in a row, and both times he actually finished ahead of James in that race. So it's really crucial points for Hedges to be getting those points ahead of James in this championship if he wants to try and get P2 away at the end, coming into Brands Hatch in 3 weeks' time. But it means this, we've set ourselves up for an amazing, epic battle for the finale for the next few rounds in Formula 3. So our Formula 3 boys will be taking a break. And my goodness, that's going to be a well-earned break for our Formula 3 drivers, DJ, as they get themselves a week rest. And then we have the F2 boys coming back next week for Spa Francorchamps.
I wish I had a week off. It's it won't be me streaming. I thought I was gonna have a week off, but unfortunately we've had some late mail come in. It's racing driver change here, late change for Blackman there. Unfortunately, he won't be able to race, so I'll be jumping in the 14. Jarman will be jumping in the commentary box. I don't know if he'll be commentating, but it'll probably just be a stream. Might do that, and then we'll have Kaizen in the safety car. So until then, thank you all for joining. It was a good race. That was some stellar action. As always, a big thank you to everyone that joined. Like, subscribe, join the Discord. Come join, come race. We're a good bunch of boys. But yeah, it's pretty well. But until then, thank you everyone for watching, and from myself and Nick Patasso, thank